One of the most popular places for tigers to chow down.
Newsbeat starts right now.
Good evening and welcome to Newsbeat. I'm Brett Hauser.
And I'm Michaela Morgan. Higher Education Altogether is a coalition of students and faculty from across universities across Louisiana. And the organizers of this afternoon's rally at the state capitol. Reporter Nadine Abusada was at the rally. Nadine, what was it like at the Capitol today?
The cold, windy day did not deter Heat supporters from taking a stand. Hundreds turned out to support the cause, including a surprise address from Governor Edwards. Take a look. They stood together once, and they stand together again. Bring the heat. Higher education all together is the new phrase that's going along at the rally as all the universities in Louisiana have come together to stand for their education. Governor John Bell Edwards made a surprise visit to show his support for the future of higher education.
I do not want to end TOPS. I do not want for our universities and community and technical colleges to close. That is precisely why you are here today, and that is why the legislature is gathered in that building, because I called them here so that these things will not happen. Before you go home, make sure, not just on these steps, but make sure that your voices are heard by the legislature. You have somebody in that building who represents you. Make sure that he or she hears you loud and clear in the House and in the Senate, that we have got to invest in higher education. We've got to move our state forward, and we cannot afford devastating, catastrophic cuts. So,
from Tiger TV, this is Nadine Abusada.
But appropriately, it's time to bring the heat.
Thanks, Nadine. Governor Edwards says he promises a resolution to the budget crisis by the end of the 3-week special session.
2 people are dead and several injured after a storm ripped through an RV park in St. James Parish. At least 7 people suffered critical injuries and 30 others are hurt. The catastrophic storm destroyed homes, cars, and property. Paramedics aided search and rescue teams to help victims of the storm.
Generally, when everyone's in their units, there'd be roughly 300 people. We do not know how many people were actually on the site when the tornado hit. I'm calling it a tornado, unconfirmed, but obviously you see the destruction.
Other areas of Louisiana received storm damage as well. A tornado ripped through the roof and walls of Gold's Gym in Prairieville. No one was reported injured by this incident.
Despite the severe weather, LSU remained unharmed during the storms. All classes and activities scheduled after noon were canceled, and students were urged to stay in and use caution if they had to leave their homes. Students staying in on-campus housing were asked to stay on lower floors or in the basements of buildings.
Like, I stay in Kirby, and they came knocking on my door, like, frantically. So, if I get to the first floor, the building might fall down, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, well, let me get down there and be safe.
Classes and activities returned to their normal schedule today.
While LSU is gearing up for student government elections, presidential candidates are blazing trails across the nation in preparation for November's presidential election. Louisiana's presidential primary is on March 5th, but how exactly are students picking their candidates? I sat down with political science professor Stasia Haney to find out. As the Louisiana presidential primary nears, many LSU students say they are excited to cast their votes. But how are students choosing their candidates? LSU political science professor Stacey Haney says that there are many reasons why young people's role in democracy is skewed.
They are less likely to vote than older voters, and especially less likely to vote in primaries.
Because of lack of participation, young people statistically are the most politically uninformed. This leads to many students choosing candidates with the most name recognition or simply not voting at all. Haney says a reason that politicians do not target students could be stemming from their empty wallets, leading to this political indifference.
Especially presidential elections are multi-billion-dollar affairs, and it takes a great deal of money, rightly or wrongly, in order to participate in politics these days. And the vast majority of those dollars are not coming from young people.
But some millennials do realize the importance of casting their votes in the presidential elections.
I think we underestimate the power that we have as a young voting force, and I think that it just takes actually coming out to the polls to make things happen. So,
while many young people do follow politics, Haney says that the young people tend to focus on less important qualities, such as appearance, although one Democratic candidate could be changing that.
Voters generally are attracted to attractive candidates. But this election's been really interesting because Bernie Sanders, as a 76-year-old individual, is an unlikely individual to be attractive to young voters, and yet he is doing very well in the college-age population.
Haney encourages young people to go out to vote because their participation is just as important as the older generations. Haney noted that young people's avid social media use is a great way to stay informed about the presidential election.
When we come back, we examine what's changing about LSU's nightlife and what is staying exactly the same. Louis Cafe is an LSU institution now in its third home since its opening in 1941, and it still keeps people coming back. Tiger TV reporter Monica Resch sat down with Louis' owner Jimmy Weatherford to discuss its historic run.
Louis has been part of the university community since 1941. It was a tiny little diner. It was 11 stools, and that was it. Now this is Louis number 3 here. We're in the third location. On our menu, we do have some Cajun standards. We have chicken and sausage gumbo. Biscuits with sausage gravy is a southern staple. If they've never been to Louis and they like seafood, I would recommend the seafood Louis. But if they were looking for a burger, the big cheesy Louis is the way to go. It's a fantastic hamburger. Of course, they have to have side order hash browns. It's a tradition with a lot of families in Baton Rouge. We have a lot of people that grew up, that went to LSU when they were students and still live in the area, but also when they come back to town, say for holidays, they always want to come back to Louis. It's a place to go after the bars close, to maybe see some friends, get a bite to eat, kind of sober up a little bit maybe, before you go home. But then it's a family affair on the Saturday and the Sunday mornings. I had a customer who actually, when he was in college, he worked at Louis for a short while, and he brought his kids, and his father worked at Louis for Louis. I am eternally grateful for the university and the students, the support that we've had over the years, and also for so many of my employees. I mean, I have employees that have been here for 25 years. So I am always grateful for the great fortune that I've had, and still feeding folks and families day after day. I'm just grateful. Are you getting hungry now?
Many Tigers enjoy Louis after a long night in Tigerland, but recent spikes in Tigerland crimes have many changing their late night plans.
Last month, an LSU student was stabbed while in Tigerland, and the nearby Akachin Market was robbed at gunpoint twice. This has led many students looking for new places to spend their nights.
I mean, I wouldn't want to walk around by myself, but I am looking forward to when I'm 21 and I can go downtown and not have to go to Tigerland, because I mean, it is kind of getting more unsafe, and it's probably not the best place I could spend my time.
Nearby businesses like Pluckers and Rotolo's have been promoting new drink deals as a way to draw in those who are looking for Tigerland alternatives. When we come back, we have a story we know you'll like.
We'll be right back. Move over like button, you've got some competition on Facebook. Facebook announced they were expanding its users' ability to react to something on their news feeds.
Users will be able to choose from several reaction buttons. Hovering over the thumbs up button will allow you to choose from like, love, haha, wow, sad, or angry. Facebook says it tested the reactions in a few markets last year and received positive feedback.
The new options are available worldwide for both desktop and phone users.
That's all for today, but you can keep up with us on our website at tigertv.tv.
Thanks everyone, and have a good night.